Have you ever had a moment where you looked in the mirror and thought, I don't feel like myself lately? Maybe your energy isn't quite the same, or your appetite just isn't what it used to be. These little shifts can seem harmless at first, just part of getting older, right? But sometimes they are whispering something deeper, things our bodies are trying to tell us before it's too late. Now, I want to be clear from the very beginning. This video isn't meant to scare you, it's here to empower you, because knowing what signs to look for could give you or a loved one the chance to take action, seek help, or simply live those later years with more awareness, dignity, and control. You see, many seniors over 60 start showing small changes around 6 months before the end of life. And while we can't predict the future, we can become more aware of what our bodies are telling us. It's about understanding those quiet signals and responding with love, care, and attention. So, today, let's gently explore some of the early signs elderly people often show about 6 months before passing. Not because we are focusing on death, but because we are focusing on life, on making every day count, on caring for ourselves and each other in the best way possible. Let's begin with something many people shrug off: a sudden, unexplained loss of appetite. You might notice someone who used to enjoy their meals start picking at their food. Maybe they push the plate away or skip meals altogether. I'm just not hungry, they will say. At first, it, mo- it might not seem like a big deal. Maybe they had a big lunch or they are just not in the mood. But when this becomes a pattern, it could be the body's way of slowing down. You see, as the body begins to prepare for its final chapter, it doesn't need as much energy. The systems start consuming fuel, digestion slows, taste buds dull down, and food becomes less appealing. That's why a declining appetite is often one of the earliest signs something deeper is going on. It might not mean the end is near, but it does deserve gentle attention. Offer soft, easy to eat meals and stay present. Sometimes just sitting and sharing a quiet moment means more than the food itself. Another change that often goes unnoticed is increased sleep or fatigue. Now, we all get tired sometimes. And yes, naps can feel heavenly in our 60s, 70s, or even 80s. But when someone starts sleeping much more than usual, day and night, and struggles to stay awake during conversations, it might be more than just being tired. The body, as it approaches its final stages, often begins to withdraw from the world. Energy fades, muscles weaken, activities that used to be simple, like walking to the bathroom or brushing teeth, begin to feel exhausting. It's as if the body is slowly realizing its grip, moment by moment. What's important here is not to fight it, but to support it. If your loved one is sleeping more, let them. Help create a peaceful, comfortable space for rest. Offer gentle companionship when they are awake, and cherish those moments of clarity and connection. There's beauty even in the quiet. At this stage, it's also easy to mistake this for depression, and sometimes the two can overlap. So, if you notice your energy draining too fast, or your interest in the things once you loved slipping away, don't ignore it. Don't push it aside. Talk to someone, a doctor, maybe a friend or a family member. Because while these signs can signal life winding down, they can also be reversed or at least managed with the right care and attention. Let me tell you a little story. There was an older gentleman named Raj, 78 years old, who started losing interest in food. His family thought he was just getting picky. He said everything tasted like cardboard, but they didn't push him. Instead, they made him warm soup, let him eat on his own time, and sat beside him during meals. It gave him peace. It gave them connection. And that simple shift turned meals from something frustrating into moments of shared grace. These signs are not warnings to panic. They are quiet cues asking for gentler care, maybe for a checkup, maybe for more presence, maybe just for a little kindness, patience, and love. And that's what this is all about. Not fearing the end, but honoring the journey, paying attention to the soft whispers of the body and answering them with compassion. As we continue, I want you to take a deep breath and remember that none of this is about fear. It's all about awareness and giving ourselves and our loved ones grace when we see changes happening. Life is full of unexpected shifts, but by understanding these signs, we can navigate them with care and understanding. Let's move on to the next sign, which is a noticeable change in breathing patterns. Now, this one can be a bit more subtle, but it's an important clue to watch for. When the body is preparing for the end of life, one of the first things that may change is how we breathe. You might notice shallow, rapid breaths or long pauses in between breaths. Sometimes the person may even gasp for air or seem to struggle with their breathing, especially when lying down or during the night. What's happening here is that the body is slowly shutting down. The lungs are not getting as much oxygen as they once did, and the body has to work harder to take in enough air. This can be a frightening thing to witness, but it doesn't always mean that the end is immediate. It's simply one of the many signs that the body's systems are gradually winding down. If you notice these changes in breathing, it's important to remain calm and supportive. If there's any significant distress, it's a good idea to reach out to a healthcare provider to see if there's a way to make breathing easier or more comfortable. Sometimes a simple adjustment like elevating the head or using a fan can make a world of difference in helping someone feel more at ease. And while you are paying attention to their breathing, be sure to check on other aspects of their physical comfort. Are they in a position where they feel safe and supported? Could they use extra pillows or a blanket? Just a little shift can help them feel more settled in your body. The next sign I want to talk about is something that can often go unnoticed at first: a marked decline in communication. Communication isn't just about talking, it's also about being present, responding to stimuli, and engaging with the people around us. As the body starts to wind down, some seniors become more withdrawn. They may talk less, or they might stop responding to others in the same way they did before. It could look like someone sitting in a room, staring out the window, or simply not answering when spoken to. This change can be heartbreaking for family members who are used to lively conversation. And I want to emphasize here that while this decline in communication can be a sign that the body is preparing for the end, it's not always a sign of depression. It can often be a reflection of the mind and body slowing down. The focus shifts from outward expression to inner reflection. There's a peace in silence that many older adults experience as they near the end. But as their loved ones, it's still so important to engage with them. Even if they are not responding verbally, it doesn't mean they aren't listening or feeling the warmth of your presence. Sometimes just holding their hand, gently rubbing their back, or sitting next to them in silence can offer them more comfort than words ever could. And here's something to remember: just because someone isn't speaking doesn't mean they don't hear you. So keep talking to them. Share a story. Tell them about your day. Let them know you are there. Sometimes it's the little acts of connection that offer the deepest comfort in these final moments. In fact, there was a woman named Margaret I once read about who, despite being nearly silent in her last months, would smile when her children played her favorite song. She couldn't speak, but that music reached her in ways nothing else could. It's not always about verbal communication, it's about feeling loved, understood, and cared for in a way that transcends words. So, as you notice these changes in communication, don't be afraid to continue offering presence. It may not always feel easy, especially if it feels like they are slipping away. But trust that your love, your care, and your presence still mean the world. Now, let's touch on the final two signs, starting with a change in the skin. When someone is nearing the end of their life, their skin often undergoes noticeable changes. It may become pale, cool to the touch, or even start to look mottled, with darker patches appearing, especially on the hands or feet. This happens because circulation slows down and the body begins to focus less on the extremities. It's a natural part of the process. But if you notice these changes, it's important to create a comfortable, warm environment to help ease any discomfort. Keep them cozy, offer soft blankets, and be there to make them feel cared for. The last sign to mention is a shift in consciousness. Some people may become confused or disoriented, especially in the late afternoon or evening. This phenomenon, known as sundowning, is common as the body starts shutting down. Their mental state might fluctuate and they may lose track of time or forget familiar faces. It's not always easy to witness, but it's part of the body's way of withdrawing from the world. If you notice these signs, be gentle. Offer reassurance without arguing. Speak calmly and try to bring comfort with familiar voices or simple gestures. The journey is different for everyone, but the key here is being there with love and patience. To wrap up, while these signs can be unsettling, they also serve as reminders to cherish the time we have. By recognizing these shifts early, you can give your loved one or yourself precious moments of comfort and peace. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, please like the video and subscribe for more. And if you have any thoughts or experiences to share, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Let's continue to live life with joy, grace, and awareness, no matter our age. Thank you and see you in the next video.